Hello, folks. Mario, what's up? Hey, Dr. Young. I guess I need to turn off this phone. Hello? No, she have a different number. You got to call the number. You got to call the other number. Ask. I'll tell her. I'll tell her to call you. I'll message her and tell her to call you. All right. Sorry, folks. I am back on the farm, and Trudy is not on the farm, and people are looking for Trudy. So, Tiana, long time no see. Leon, big up, Mr. Golding. Kenneth, good to see you. We are definitely gonna get into the big week that was this past week. Some big announcement. Nutramix and Dr. Young had an amazing seminar. So we're gonna our little takeaways from it. If you can do me a favor and share the link so we can get people on here and have a robust discussion on these new developments. Mr. Makuk, what's going on, boss? I see you spending the day on the farm. Jamal, big up. And welcome everybody to iGoat chat. We talk about everything to do with goat, sheep, small farmers, and how we can help each other. And so basically, as I said, this evening we're gonna unpack what happened this past week and what are the big takeaways. So if you guys can share the link, share, and let us get people on, share with all the different groups. It's great to see so many small ruminants group on Facebook now. Good. Communicating, sharing ideas, discussing the different issues that face the farmers, and that's a good thing. The more conversations we have, the better things will be. And I think it's great. So, all right, let me get into this. So the ministry had their big small ruminants development program. There's not a lot of details from it. The few people, I wasn't there. I've had conversations with a couple of people that were there, and got a quick rundown on what was discussed. And basically, from what I understand, it's much of the same stuff that Minister Floyd shared with us on iGoat chat, except that there is a serious commitment to importation of live animals, which is something he mentioned on the show when he was with us. And now there seems to be a major push to make this happen, which is great. I think it's a very important development in our sector. People been asking for live animals imported for a while. It's been put on the back burner for a long time for biosecurity reasons and otherwise, but now they seem to come up with a plan to make it happen. So we're excited about that. And also the semen giveaway, where farmers will have the opportunity to get free semen from the ministry, and will help them develop their herd Embryo transfer is another part of that program, and the development of fodder bank, hay, and all that stuff. So it's big. There's, as I said before, there's not a lot of details. There was no recap report from either parties, except for I saw a video from Mr. Bernard and Khalil discussing what happened and the major point of animal importation. But I haven't seen any recap report. If I'm wrong, somebody can point it to me. Share a link if there's a statement issued saying that this is what the different initiatives are. I'll have to see it. For me, one thing I would have loved if that event was streamed so we could actually get the information firsthand. I think in today's world, I think streaming as such an event would have been advantageous to the sector. Farmers could actually get that information firsthand and, understand what's going on for themselves. But nonetheless, I think we're moving in the right direction. There's now a renewed drive to sign up for the Small Ruminants Association. My understanding is a lot of these programs and initiatives from the ministry will be, the Small Ruminants Association will play a major part in either an administrative or advisory role. And so there's a renewed drive for farmers to sign up and be member of the association. I have my my own little opinions on the association. Everybody knows that. Last year we challenged the current president, and because of COVID, we just backed off and let it be because there was no meeting scheduled, nothing. So we just leave it. But I still think that we still need some major changes within the Small Ruminants Association when it comes to transparency, accountability, all that stuff. But if you support the association, then by all means sign up and be a part of what they're doing. I'm always a member of the association from before we owned goats, when it was the goat and sheep association or something. When we were doing our exploratory travels and toured looking at different farms, we were advised to be members, so we did, and we've always renewed our membership. So everybody here should know my take on the association and how I feel. So this is not about the association. I'm just letting you guys know that the association will be a major part in the rollout of these programs. JB, I have a question. Do you have to be a part of the association to partake or participate in this program or have benefits from this program? My understanding is yes. You have to be a registered farmer with RADA, and you have to be registered with the association. That's the short of it. That's my understanding, that's how this is going to go. So if you have any interest in this program and would love to see some benefit from it, I advise you to talk to the leadership at the association, get some answers if you have any questions or concerns, and be a member. That's all I have to say about that. So let's move on to what I thought was actually a more significant event of the week, which is the Nutramix Goat Seminar, or a small ruminant seminar. I I watched it because I didn't have the opportunity to go to the event because I was otherwise I was on another job and I couldn't make it there, but I took the opportunity to watch the whole thing, and I was very impressed. I got to give Dr. Young a big shout out because it was well organized, well put together. The presentations were on point, and the speakers were on point. All the major players were there, which is great to see. You know, Dr. Watson from the veterinarian division, the minister was there. You know, the association was represented. The Jamaica Development Dairy Board was represented. All the major players were there, which is great. My takeaway, and I'll try to go through these one by one. Dr. Young did an amazing presentation of the startup cost for starting a small farm. And, you know, she went through the numbers and how you can do this in an affordable way and break down profit margins and the difference between taking that money. Let's say you take $5 million and you put it in the bank, the return on that $5 million is way more if you invested in starting a goat farm and do it right. Right? So that was a great presentation. In my eyes, it was a great presentation. Sorry, it's hot. And I watched that presentation with keen interest because, you know, here at Carbon Ranch, we try to do things straight as a business. Like everything we do is from a business perspective. Every decision we make is in the best interest of the business. So I was paying keen attention to her presentation, and it was a great presentation. It was, you know, it was informative and it was simple. Break it down so, you know, people who are not so smart like me could understand every aspect of the presentation and how it would benefit if you have the ability to get that capital, you know. So it was great. Then they got into presentation of best practices, you know, the whole best way to take care of your animals, etc. That great presentation. Dr. Young, during one of her presentations, she was presenting the different production models. And then at the end, she told the audience that in her eyes, the preferred model would be a middle ground model where you sell the wieners to somebody who will finish them, similar to what they do in the pig industry. And I found that very intriguing because one is that it's cost effective and it gives you a simple program to follow, and it saves space. So you can have more animals producing and you save on space because you will get rid of the weaners at 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, and somebody else will fatten them to get them to the market. The question I have is the price point on selling these animals. Before I get to that, closer to the end, we discovered that Nutramix is going to start an enterprise where they buy these weaners. So now that's where it comes to the question of what price point are these weaners going to be purchased at? And for us, I got to go and work the numbers to see if it makes sense for like Cabo Ranch, like what we're doing here. If we're going to be selling these animals to Nutramix or whoever it is to fatten them, finish them, what price point are they going to be purchasing these animals? How does it make financial sense? So that middle model is basically, for the most part, what most breeders do right now, or even not even just breeders, but we do it all the time. We do it. We don't keep bucklings here past 4 months unless it's going to be for personal use of slaughtering or something like that. Other than that, we try to get rid of them at 4 months. So it's not, that model is not new to us, except when you're selling to a fattener, I'm pretty sure the price point's going to be a lot different. I don't know what age the proposed purchase will happen. I don't know if there's going to be any subsidy, any inputs from Nutramix, like what they do in the chicken industry. I don't know any of that. Hoping that I can have an in-depth conversation with Dr. Young on it to see if it makes sense for us. But for us as a collective of farmers, it is one avenue that we can look forward to sell animals. We can know that it's there and you can commit a percentage of your production to it. So it's consistent, secure money. Or you can just have a deal with them where they take everything you produce. It's, as I said, I don't know the details on how this will be rolled out, but the fact that there's gonna be somebody buying these animals is a great thing. There is a market. Now, I won't get into the other part of it that I'm gonna dig into, but I think it's great. So one day, somehow, I'm hoping that once the Young and them get all their duck in a row for this initiative, somebody from Nutramix can come on and explain to the farmers how it's going to work and what their proposal is to farmers, and then we can all fully support it. So that's one big takeaway that I saw from the Nutramix presentation. It was interesting that Nutramix is going like really, really fast in my eyes with their small ruminants program. They're actually pushing hard. They push hard on semen, letting everybody know they got semen. Now they're pushing hard on the education side, and they're pushing hard with this new, fattening or finishing program, whatever it's called. And I can say Dr. Young is doing big things. Now, how in the end affect us farmers is yet to be seen. But I think the ball is in our court on how we deal with this. It's educate yourself on the numbers and if it makes financial sense, and take advantage. As I said before, earlier, you could commit 40% of your production, 60% of your production. It's up to you. You're in control. I think the fact that it's there, and it will be there as a secure way of selling animals, and you can count on that money. And let's try to make it work. Let's figure out. I know, farmers I've talked to, they have that model of selling 25 animals one time and that type of stuff. And I'm hoping that that's what Nutramix is proposing, that they can come and just take 50 animals, hoping that the price is right, and as I said last week, when we're talking to the Goat Meat Association leaders, that's not the only way. You can create your own little market, and supply people with goat meat. So the market is always there, as Conrad say. And structure, as he says, is the key. I believe that the market is always there. We know it's there, and we shouldn't focus on the import bill. Like, before I get into Samuel's presentation at the Nutramix seminar, he said it in his presentation at the close to the end when he was taking some questions. He's like, don't focus on the import bill. Focus on building your business. Focus on establishing your business, growing business, branding your business. That's the key. Because if you have a great brand and a great business model, you will see success. And then, thanks, Blaine. Then they have the hay production. And I don't know, as I said, none of these things have a lot of details more than, put them out there and say, they're gonna happen. But if they can get into hay production, that is major. That is a big deal. I don't know if this initiative is part of the government rollout of hay and fodder. I don't know if it's a part of it. We will try to get more details for you guys. But I know, and you guys should remember that Minister said it on this show that he's gonna do that. That's gonna be a major part of his agenda, is to, ramp up hay production and fodder production as part of his livestock feed security initiative. So we're hoping that these things happen sooner than later. I know when it comes to the government and stuff, you have to go through all the red tape and stuff. But Nutramix is a private company, so I'm expected to move a lot faster with Nutramix. Samuel Golding, he did his presentation, and I was impressed. He did a great job, and he's a proud Jamaican, and I could see it on his face to know that he feels really good to know he can come home and be sharing his experience and his knowledge with a sector that he's so passionate about, and he's in a position to have serious effect on in a positive way. So I was happy to see that, and he did a great presentation. The whole Nutramix was on point. it was really important that we acknowledge. It's really important that we acknowledge that and give Dr. Young and her team, you know, some serious thumbs up. And when you see her bigger up, I know she's here. She was on tonight, so I definitely want to give her enough props. Her and the team enough props. Um, let's see what Hypro comes with. I'm hoping that they will follow up with something similar, so we keep the momentum going. Me, I'm all about progress, and as long as there's progress, it's not a problem for me. Stagnation is a problem for me. Going in circles, being on an hamster wheel is a problem for me. So I see progress, and I gotta big it up, and I'm hoping that Hypro will follow with something big too, and let's keep it moving. We definitely want that. We want them, everybody, to bring the positive energy, move the needle forward. You know, I'm talking Khalil, I don't know if you listen to you come on iGoat chat anymore. I haven't seen you in a while, so I don't know if you participate in this little family anymore. But we want to see something from iPro. Let us know that they're invested in the small ruminant sector. There's no secret that I have a good relationship with Khalil. I use we use the maintenance ration here at Cava Ranch, but I'm all about progress, so I want to see something. I want to see what their plans are. I definitely would love to see them do something similar to what Nutramix did, and tout their initiatives, what they're putting in, what is their input into the sector to move it forward. It doesn't have to be their version of a fattening program or their version of hay production or fodder production. It doesn't have to be that. They can come up with something new, something revolutionary, something that farmers are going to really be excited about and benefit from it. We're not. I'm not asking for them to do handouts. I'm asking for tangible inputs that will help the sector grow. If they want, they can focus on breeding stock if they want, or they can focus on the dairy side because I know from talking to Khalil that they have good dairy results in the cattle industry, so they could focus on that. They could partner with JDDB and build that out. There's so many different things that they could do. They could get into processing. They could, so there's many ways that the different players in the sector that has the resources can put some input in that will help. So I'm looking forward to it. Exactly, Dr. Young. Let's farm together. That's what I'm talking about. Let's farm together. Yeah, let's put the brain powers together and come up with ideas and let it work for everybody involved. When they talk about the numbers on the import and the numbers, the money that's spent on goat meat, and Dr. Young did a great thing in her presentation about people think they're having goat meat when they're eating mutton, and education is a part of it too. Education, like I would love to see as part of this small ruminants development program, PSAs hitting the radio waves, buy local, people the difference between the meat buy big supermarket versus the Jamaican goat meat. Just tell people the truth. To tell people that, yo, we ain't sure that's goat meat. Like, be proud. Like, I figured, tell people, say, look, we don't sure that's goat meat. So if you're really into Jamaica, into your goat meat and your good curry goat, just buy local because we're sure that's goat meat. Stuff like that. We're not saying buy from Dr. Young or buy from Cabra or buy from, Al or whoever it is. We're just saying goat meat. Jamaican goat meat. That's what the government PSAs like that. The government should put in place as part of the Small Ruminants Development Program, I think. It's my humble opinion. Education and knowledge and letting people know things is important. Dr. Young, I'm big on this because I talked about it at the dairy meeting, the goat dairy meeting, is, tell people the benefits of goat milk. Just keep telling them and they'll buy into it. You just keep telling them it's good for you. If you're lactose intolerant, it's good. You can't drink cow's milk, you can drink goat milk. The health benefits, it tastes better. Just tell them. And it just slowly builds momentum over time. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you keep telling them, it will register. And then now the farmers themselves, it's up to them to promote their brand. It's up to them to do their own marketing. But the people overseeing the sector, for the best interest of the sector, put some money in PSAs, as part of your support of the sector. And that's just my take on it. If we all come together and work together and don't worry about the import bill, just say, hey, look, I want to make $5 million in revenue. How do I get there? And let's say 200 people decide to do that. Automatically, you start affecting the import bill. You know what I mean? It's a given. I can't worry about the import bill when all I see is that number. I see number and I was like, okay, if I could get 2-3% of that number, how do I get it? How do I build a business and get 2% of that, 1%, 5%? I don't know what it is. I just want a piece of it. And you look at it from that perspective, then you know for sure that you'll get it because you're going to build a business around it, and set goals. Just set goals. Say, look, I want to be able to have $5 million in revenue from my goat operation. And a few weeks ago, I broke down all the different revenue streams that you can get from your goat operation. It's not that far-fetched, down to the manure. You just got to find the people who use manure for different gardening things. Like you got farmers that do, different vegetables that they use it for. You have farmers that does, there's a farmer that buys manure from us and he does melon. And he says when he's seeding his melon, he puts it down, So it's crazy, the different revenue stream. Your Dr. Young to $1.5 billion American dollars in import. Yeah, I'm not looking at how do we cut into that, but how the piece of it. That's the outlook. How do I create a business that will take a piece of that? People are spending that much money on a product. I want a piece of that. There's a yeah, doctor, right. There's a the market is big for everybody. It's big enough for everybody. So we could come together, work together, and just develop the business, develop the sector, and we can, by effect, cut down on that bill. Or I don't like to use the word cut down on the bill. I used to say take a piece of that money, you know, just take a piece of that money slowly but surely. And that's how I see it. And you guys tell me if I'm off base. If I'm wrong, tell me. If you think my perspective is wrong, tell me. Because based on my research, on all the observations and talking to people, I come up with the conclusion that each man work together and build your business, and the end result will be a piece of that pie. If each farmer and people realistic about their operation, if and this is gonna rub some people the wrong way, but so if you can only have 50 goats, then maximize the income stream from those 50 goats. Because really and truly, 50 goats won't get you into a real meat production. But 50 goats could give you a lot of milk, and it could give you a lot of manure. And you're still going to be producing kids, so you can then sell them to Nutramix or whoever has a fattening program. Or do what everybody's doing now, sell it to other small farmers or the party scene, if it ever comes back. But the bigger part of, if you ever heard of 50 goats, milk them, dairy. That is another initiative that's coming. That's going to be impactful. I'm excited. I told you guys before, the JDDB is trying to get goat dairy under the Dairy Act of Jamaica. So anything the cattle might get for them dairy thing, people are gonna get it, because they're gonna be under the umbrella. Hopefully by the end of the year that can happen. So there's good things happening. Good things are happening. Now, how do we make sure these great initiatives don't go to the wayside? As a collective, how do we ensure that? Preparation. Since we started this show, the number of times that we've done shows on registering your business, getting a bank account, how to develop your business, social media marketing, all that stuff. All the number of shows we've done on it, telling people, get your ducks in a row, get your business straight, register your business, get a business bank account, get a TRN for the business, be tax compliant, all these things. Get your management right, record keeping. We've been preaching it all last year. Sometimes to like 10 people on Instagram, because nobody wants to talk about business things and them things. They don't want to talk about that, but it's there. We talked about it many times. And now, if your operation is not up to par, it's not in good standing, it's not a well-oiled machine, these initiatives that are coming, you won't benefit from them. You won't see any benefit. you won't be in a position to move forward if your operation is not, a well-oiled machine, or on its way to being a well-oiled machine, or it's not tax compliant, or you don't have good records. We talk about this so many times, and I think we're going to talk about it again and again and again, like Julia always say, repeated 24 times before people start registering with people. So we have no problem saying it over and over and over and over again, because I think people need to know. Personally, I get frustrated when people just keep talking about goats and how to take care of goats and how to this and how to that with goats, and just that side of the business. That side of the business is important, but what you do with these healthy goats and these good-looking goats is equally as important. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense you have these wonderful-looking animals, and all they're doing is eating and drinking water, and you're not making money from them, or you're not maximizing your return on them. And that's why we're here for, us to keep hammering it home that, hey, you can turn this into a real business. The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. And when I talk about branding, you may have 100 goals, and you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to turn this into a big business or a massive business? And it's all about brand. Develop a brand, and brand becomes something that people trust and influence people's decision. The money will come because of the brand. The money will come. If that's what you're about, it will come. You think about it. If you're able to put a brand on the shelves and market it right, and in such high demand, and people are talking about that brand, one of those major companies will come knocking and say, hey, we want to buy the brand, or we want to partner with you. It's all about building the business. So it's very important that if you're treating it like a business, all aspects of it got to treat it like a business. Everything about it. Darren, you're late. You should go to detention room or something, Darren. So I think I'm straying a bit because I'm so passionate about this part of, the sector, where it's building the business part of it. But back to the Nutramix and the Ministry of Agriculture launch. If anybody have more details about the launch, let us know, where we can find more details on it. The only thing I know, as I said off the top, is what the minister presented on our show, that is part of his agenda. And then I think he made it official. This is what they're doing at the launch. The big takeaway is the animal imports. Now, how are they going to do the animal imports? My understanding is they're going to have designated farms in the US that these animals will come. These farms will be vetted, checked, make sure they meet all Dr. Watson's criteria, and that's where the animals will be coming from. So that's a good thing. Now, Another part of the import is, I don't know how true this is. I got this from the video that Mr. Bernard and did, is that as a farmer, you can actually independently purchase animals and make it a part of that shipment that's coming in. If anybody know differently and think that information is not correct, please correct me. I don't want to be misrepresenting anything, but this information I got from that video. So if you're an independent farmer with your money, you can contact them and say, yeah, I want to buy 10 animals. Can I buy 10 animals and make it a part of that shipment that's coming in? And it should be able to happen. So that's another big thing. So the quote unquote big farmer will have them money. They're not going to need to be a part of that pilot project where the government give a farm 10 animals and you're going to keep on care, and we're going to take a percentage of what comes off of it and distribute to the community. If they don't want to participate in that, then they can buy their own animals. And that would be great, because it's new genetics coming into the country. And for me, I would love to see Jamaica be the big supplier for the region, for the Caribbean, even South America. I'd love to know that Jamaica can supply these places with, amazing Boer goats, amazing dairy animals. It would be nice. It would be great to see. And I'm hoping that's where it's going. I'm hoping that's where some of these established farmers can take, the likes of Mackie. The speed at what Mac is expanding, I know for a fact that's where he wants to go. That's his big objective, is to be able to supply the region, Jamaica and the region, with great genetics, Boer goat genetics. So I just see this note, this comment here in the comment section, and just throw me off. Somebody talking about George Floyd. I don't know what that's about. So if you guys have any ideas that you want to put out there, let's see it in the comments, and let's have a discussion on it. Whoever was at one of these events, if there's something I didn't touch on that you think is important, that should be discussed or applaud, then put it in the comments and let's bring attention to it. I'm sure Dr. Young is here, and if there's something that we as a group can give her feedback on, I'm sure she would appreciate it. This is a time that we can actually help with these initiatives. This is a time where we can help by sharing our ideas, sharing our thoughts, and in a forum like this, in an environment like this, where we have constructive criticism and constructive discussions, this helps. This is where the needle gets moved and the ball goes forward down the field, is when we can have open discussions like this and help the stakeholders with their initiatives, inputs. I'm going to try again to try to get the minister back on for a full hour, and let him expound on this, because I think once we let him know that the farmers in the sector fully supports what he's doing, I think it's great that he will give him an extra push to make it happen. Yes, Mr. Michael, yeah, it was said, not all full blood is a stud. Yep, it was said, that's true. And we always, different people say that all the time on the different forums. Darren is saying there's going to be a run on animals as larger farmers try to get liquidity in order to bring in their own animals. This might be a good opportunity for smaller farmers to get good animals cheap. I don't know about cheap. Well, it all depends. Cheap is relative. It all depends on what you call cheap, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to be selling their animals for cheap. But that's a good question. I don't know. I know that Terrence made a comment about that. Terrence Johnson. And I mean, I really don't believe that. And this is the reason I don't believe that's going to happen. There's not enough animals in Jamaica to begin with. And there's going to be a lot of people jumping in now. Because what Dr. Young did, what Nutramix and Dr. Young did this week was all over the news. It was streamed by the public broadcasting company. I don't know what I remember what it's called. And it was in the newspaper. What the minister did was in the newspaper. So I am pretty sure there's going to be local investors that's going to be jumping in, and there's going to be people in diaspora with disposable income going to be jumping in, thinking that they can make a money because all this input's coming from the government. So I don't know if the price of animals are going to go down, or the price of full-blood and purebred animals, or what was known as full-blood and purebred, is going to be cheaper. I don't believe there will be. But let's wait and see. So this is a great question, Jamel. We had Lynn Tate from OC Flock on a few weeks ago, and she clearly said, in her opinion and from her expertise, Jamaica should be importing. If Jamaica is going to import live animals, they should import live animals from regions that are similar to our climate. So warmer climate, Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, that type of place, them kind of places. She advised against animals from the northern parts of North America because of the climate. So, I'm hoping that the stakeholders and the powers that be will take this into consideration, because obviously the experts is important. So Darren is saying the price has already been trending down. I haven't bought any animal in almost 2 years. No, that's not true. I bought buck. I bought full-blood buck. Well, what was called a full-blood buck. But I haven't bought anything else since 2019. Everything has been produced on the farm. So I don't know what the going price is for, full-blood or purebred animals, because we don't sell them. We sell mostly graded animals, and if I have a full-blood or a purebred. I haven't had any full blood because I only got one full blood female. So bred Nubian, I've only sold like 3 of them, and I asked friends to price it because I don't know nothing about it. I know nothing about pricing. So I asked friends to put they advise on the price, and I say that's what it is. But anybody knows what is the current pricing on full blood and purebred animals? What is the going rate? Last time I know of full, based on my relationship with Mackie, blood buckling, 4 months, 5 months, 120, 130,000. And it all depends on the quality of the animal too. So I don't know if somebody purchased a full blood boar recently, let us know what that price point was. And I know purebred is always a little cheaper for some reason. I don't know why. But usually when I see them listed, the purebred Nubians are always a little cheaper than the full blood. And take my advice, if you're gonna go into meat, there's enough hybrid animals available to start your own meat production. There's a lot of hybrid animals that you can start with. The thing about it is you gotta have a plan to get from A to B to Z. Have to have a solid plan. The growth, the selling of the business, the marketing of the business, the development of your developing of customer base. All that has to be in play. Not to mention the administrative side of it. That got to be in play. You just got to start. Start with, 2 or 3 people, some friends, family, whatever it is. Just start. Yeah. See, Al is here. Big up Al Archer. Al is saying the best quality animals probably concentrated in Texas, which is with comparable climate. As per what Lynn Tate said, those are the regions that Jamaica should consider. Now, I'm hoping, as I said, the powers that be will, make these farms that they're going to vet. These farms are going to be from that region. I think Samuel Golding should be at top of the list as a yardman and a big supporter thing, and he's always in our community. He could be on right now and we don't even know. He's always with his farm should be at top of the list. That should be the first visit. And I'm saying that right now. Full investment. If you guys agree with me, give me a thumbs up, a fire emoji, whatever it is. If you think Samuel Golding farm should be number 1 on the list. I don't care if we only have 100 animals, I don't care how much animal we have. We should say, yo, Samuel, we're taking 60% of what you produce for the next 5 years. And that's how I see it, because he's a big supporter. He's a big part of our sector. He's a big part of the group. Like, he's on almost every, I see him make comments on every small ruminants group. Every group I see him make comments. He's always in there. He knows what we need. He knows what our concerns are. So he should be number 1 on the list. And I'm pushing for that. I'm pushing big time for that. I would definitely, anything I need to sign, anything I need to make a comment on or give my opinion on so he could get on that list. I don't even know what I'm talking about because it should be a no-brainer. Maybe just beating up my gum for no reason. He's already number one on the list, but I'm just putting my 2 cents in there and make sure that people know where we are and where the iGoat chat family is at. That's the number one farm that should be on the list, and everybody else come after. He should be the main consultant, to be honest. They should actually be paying him to scout Texas and find other farms that could be a part of this. You know what I mean? Because we can find them. If something goes bad, we can say, yo, Sam, what happened here? We need some answers. I think that's a good thing. We know who he is. You're not some guy in the US. We know who he is. If the government make a deal with him and say, look, we're going to hire you as an advisor, a consultant, and you're going to help us find 3 other farms. And we'll have 4 farms, your gold mine and 3 others that you help us find, and that's going to be it. I think we're at a good group. That's a good start. That's my opinion anyways. What else didn't I haven't covered? I think I covered for the most part everything to do with the Nutramix presentation, which I was so impressed. I don't know if people understand how impressed I was with it. It was straight up amazing. So let me correct it. Dr. Young, you're still here. The production model that Dr. Young was pushing and saying that's the one she thinks would work best for small farmers is the breeding unit and multiplier that goes to a fattening farm. That's what it's called. I was doing a bunch of screenshots throughout the presentation so I can make sure that I have these notes, right? And then she went through her cost presentation. Yeah, I'm sorry everybody that was so I'm not going to regurgitate this stuff, but I wanted to get the model correct, which is the breeding unit and multiplier. That's the one that she endorses. Thanks will work best for small farmers. And if she's here, she can tell me if I'm dead on, because it's a screenshot that I'm reading from, so I know it's correct. Paul, welcome, sir. The registry, yes, the registry is a big part of what the government, Ministry of Agriculture, is pushing, and this is in tandem and in coordination with the Small Ruminant Association. Now, I'm inviting Paul or somebody from the association to give us an update on where we are with the registry. A lot of people are excited about the registry because of the structure. I know there's some people that are thinking the registry, there'd be ulterior motives for the registry. I'm not going to get into none of that. I'm all about positivity, and I know without structure and accountability and traceability, we can't get anywhere. So I'm not questioning the registry. I just want an update about it, like where we are, and how soon would it be rolled out. And we know that we got the influx of new animals coming in, how the registry is going to work with that. And Paul is hereby committing to come on next week to talk about it. So thank you, Paul, and looking forward to that. That should be very good. We're going to keep it positive as always, and doesn't mean you're going to slide by without some tough questions, but we're keeping it positive, and let's keep the positive vibes moving forward, and anything negative now come around here, I'm going to join it, done with it. What else did I forget? AI. Okay. So AI was presented at the Nutramix thing. Oh yeah, it was presented at the launch too, but it was more of a government initiative, and they're gonna be providing semen. Now, Dr. Young and her team at Nutramix, they are the semen and AI people. They're at the forefront of this right now. And that was a big part of the presentation at the seminar. Now, in the interim, on a few of the Facebook groups, started about whether AI is more cost effective than an actual animal. So that's a good question, except that question been answered times. I'll give you the answer Lynn Tate gave me on the show. AI and embryo transfer are for two specific reasons. One, most established farmers and things across the world do it for biosecurity. It's safer to do AI or embryo transfer to inject new genetics into their farm, into their operation, than to bring a live animal in, right? And then the second one is live animals is basically hard to import, very hard to import. South Africa borders are closed. Most countries only take animals from like 3 countries around the world. Canada is border with the US, and only semen can go back and forth. No live embryo, because they treat embryo like a live animal. So those are the two main reasons why people do AI and embryo transfer on a grand scale across the world. Now, here in Jamaica, my opinion is AI, because AI is the most popular, AI is not for everybody. Like AI cannot be cost effective for somebody who only have 20 animals or 25 animals. Why? The only way it can be advantageous for you is if you have an operation like Ruby Goat Farm, where they're dairy and they don't want no buck on their farm. So their whole system is based on every kidding season, we're going to put in AI and work with the percentage. And their system and their business model is set up accordingly. But if you're into meat, if you're going towards a meat production, then AI is not for you. Like for me, I'm not going to be doing AI on no meat animal. Why? I would never do that. Not in the near future anyways. Made the mistake and try to do it in the beginning because I thought it, was doing something cool, and it didn't work. But now for me, all about milk. It's all about improving on my milk animals. So I'll do AI with milk genetics because, people like Paul Sears breed out the milking out of Nubians and look for the Roman. I'm just bugging you, pal. Don't take it personal. But Jamaicans weren't breeding for the milk. They were breeding for Denby. So it's hard to really find Nubians that actually hold their original reason for being alive is milk. So we have to inject, some milk genetics into the system. And that's what we at Carver Ranch will be doing over the next couple of years. It's going to be part of our breeding program. But as far as the meat is concerned, I have 2 Boer bucks, and I could get good hybrid animals out of my graded herd with good meat to bone ratio, good growth rate, and everything is on point. It just comes down to the numbers. So the presentation from Nutramix was a little interesting, to say the least, because the presentation basically said it was cheaper to do AI. But it's cheaper to do AI if AI is what your system require. But it's not cheaper if your system don't require AI. If you have a large farm and you're trying to get genetics in, and it's 200,000, 250,000 for a mature buck that's gonna work now, it's cheaper to do AI than to go buy this buck. So that makes sense. But that's just my 2 cents worth. Any other questions? I think I missed Mario. Trudy's not here. Trudy, you know what? I didn't even see her log on to monitor background. Gonna have to have a conversation with my producer. Yeah, gonna have to have a conversation with her. Any other questions? Any other thing? Anything I missed from one of these presentations? Somebody asked if the Nutramix function was posted. Yes, the Nutramix function was advertised for weeks, if not months. And here they say you can find it on YouTube. Yeah. That's correct, Mario. Young said it isn't for everybody. Your system has to require it for it to make sense. Darren, you need to figure out the thing so you can come on and let you and I have a real robust discussion. Darren is saying AI is cheaper than a stud, but it adds up over time and will actually cost more for persons with larger herd. I see your point. The thing about a larger herd is that you want to keep fresh genetics, keep coming into the herd. So if you have a large herd, you can do both. strategically use AI to inject new genetics into the herd, while you also have two or three mature bucks on the farm to service the rest. It wouldn't make sense to just do AI on a herd that you have two animals. Doesn't financially doesn't make sense. But every 2 years, every 3 years, or every 5 years, depends on your system, you may want to, inject some new genetics. So I see your point there. How do you access the presentation? Anybody have information or the link to the Nutramix presentation on YouTube? If you can post it, that would be helpful. I don't think I have
of it inside of our software. So
I don't think I have access. I haven't seen it, but I can do a search and see if I can find it. I think I found it. There you go. I think that's the link. That's the link, Dave. Okay, so I think that's it. I think I've covered the most important things from these two big events this week. And next week, we're going to have Paul on to talk about the Reggie. And that's a great thing. So we look forward to that. But at this point, I'm going to bid you all a good night. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being a part of this every week. And looking forward to next week. And I will give Trudy you guys best, because a couple of people are saying say hi to Trudy, and I'm gonna find out how come she didn't log on and be in the background checking on things for me. I'm pretty sure she's busy. We've been on a big project all week, so sure she's got her face in the laptop doing other things. But thank you guys, and thank Dr. Young. Thank you, the regulars, everybody that's always here, Tiana, Mr. McCool, Mario, everybody, Roland, Valerie, Howard, Dave, Kareem, the list goes on and on and on. Leona, Darren, all about everybody. I just want to let you guys know we appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, take care, be safe. Thanks.